Remember to provide citations for any specific claims in your answer that are drawn from the search results. Use tags. The index should include document and sentence indices like 0 to 2 or 1 to 3, 1 to 4 for sections that span multiple sentences. Only cite search results, not the document context. Only add citations when necessary to support your claims. The Vashiri Dominion ships cut through space like dark knives. Their purple energy signatures flared as they passed Saturn's rings. Earth was just another conquest for them, the 17th planet in 10 years. The aliens didn't worry about resistance. They never faced any that mattered. Admiral Hana Kim stood tall on the bridge of humanity's secret weapon. Her dark eyes studied the tactical displays showing the approaching enemy fleet. The TSS Thundersoul hummed around her, its systems unlike any vessel ever built by human hands. "They've destroyed the outpost on Phobos," said Lieutenant June Park. His voice was steady, but his hands gripped the edge of his console. 47 automated systems lost. Hana nodded. The Vashiri always started with a show of force. She had studied their tactics for years, ever since humans discovered the ancient technology buried on the dark side of the moon. Technology that led to the Thundersoul's creation. "Status report," she ordered. Commander Day Lee looked up from her station. "All systems ready, Admiral. Neural interfaces at full capacity. The ship is eager." That was the thing about the Thundersoul. It wasn't just a ship. The ancient technology allowed it to form neural connections with its crew, ship and humans working as one mind. The military brass hadn't believed it would work until they saw the test results. "The Vashiri are hailing all Earth frequencies," said Communications Officer Tai Kwan. "Standard surrender demands." On the main screen, the alien commander appeared. Supreme Commander Rill had gray-green skin with scale-like patterns. His eyes were large and yellow with vertical pupils. "Humans of Earth," he said with a voice that sounded like stones sliding together. "Your civilization is now under Vashiri protection. Surrender your governments and prepare for integration. Resistance will result in planetary bombardment. You have 1 Earth hour to comply." The bridge crew looked at Hana. Earth's governments had agreed on one response to the alien threat. "No reply," she said. "Prepare for neural sync." The 12 crew members of the Thundersoul were selected from millions of candidates. They had the rare brain patterns needed to sync with the ship's consciousness. Each wore a small device at the base of their skull, the interface that would join their minds with the ship and each other. "Sync sequence starting," announced Chief Engineer Sun. She pressed her palm against the central console and it lit up with blue-white light. "Everyone ready?" Hana took her command chair. "Remember your training. Don't fight the connection. Let your thoughts flow into the whole. 1. By 1, the crew activated their neural interfaces. Their eyes closed as their minds opened to something greater. The ship's systems pulsed with light as each human consciousness joined with it. When Hana activated her own interface, the sensation washed over her like warm water. Her awareness expanded beyond her body. She could feel the ship's hull as if it were her skin. The engines were her heartbeat. The sensors became her eyes, showing her the vastness of space in ways human senses never could. And she wasn't alone. The minds of her crew flowed around her like currents in an ocean. Their thoughts, their feelings, their knowledge, all shared. And beneath it all was something else. The Thundersoul itself had awareness. Not quite human, but alive in its own way. In orbit around Mars, the Vashiri fleet held position. Supreme Commander Rill watched the timer counting down the humans' surrender deadline. "Prepare weapons," he told his crew. "When the deadline passes, target their military installations." "First, Commander," said his sensor officer suddenly. "A vessel has left Earth orbit and is heading toward us." Rill frowned. "Show me." The screen displayed a single ship. It was smaller than the smallest Vashiri cruiser, with a smooth hull that seemed to shimmer with blue-white energy flowing through vein-like patterns across its surface. "1 ship?" Rill laughed. "They send 1 ship against our fleet?" The laughter spread through his bridge crew. Vashiri loved conquest, but they rarely found worthy opponents. This seemed particularly pathetic. Sir, the sensor officer's voice faltered. The energy readings from the human vessel, they're unlike anything in our database. The power signature is impossible. Through the neural connection, Hana felt the Thunder Soul's systems come fully online. The ship's consciousness merged with the crew's, creating something new, a hybrid mind with human intuition and machine precision. We are ready, Hana thought, and felt the agreement of her crew ripple through their shared consciousness. The Thunder Soul accelerated toward the Vashiri fleet. It was humanity's first and only hope. 1 ship against 40. But the aliens didn't understand what they were facing. They were about to learn. Supreme Commander Reel stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. The single human ship approached, his fleet at speeds that should not be possible. His bridge crew fell silent as the vessel's energy signature continued to climb beyond what their instruments could measure. "This must be an error," he said, his scaled fingers tapping anxiously on his command chair. "No species at this development stage has such technology." "The readings are accurate, Commander," his science officer replied. "The human vessel's power source is unlike anything in our records." The Thunder Soul flew toward the Vashiri fleet like a bright arrow. Inside, Admiral Hana Kim existed in a state beyond normal human experience. Her mind flowed together with her crew and the ship itself. Through their shared neural connection, she perceived space in ways her physical eyes never could. "They are confused," thought Lieutenant Park, his consciousness touching Hana's within their shared mental space. "They don't understand what we are." "Good," Hana responded. "Surprise is our advantage." The Thunder Soul's sensors revealed every detail of the Vashiri ships, their weapon systems, their shield frequencies, the tiny fluctuations in their engine outputs. Data that would overwhelm a normal human mind flowed effortlessly through their collective consciousness. The Vashiri fleet arranged itself into attack formation, 40 warships against 1, their purple energy weapons charged, targeting the approaching human vessel. "The human ship shows no signs of slowing," reported the Vashiri tactical officer. "It will enter weapons range in 30 seconds. Commander Reel leaned forward. Perhaps they come to surrender in person. But he did not believe his own words. Something was wrong. The humans should be afraid, yet this lone ship approached as if it feared nothing. "All ships open fire as soon as they enter range," he ordered. The Thunder Soul sensed the energy building in the Vashiri weapons. Through the neural link, Chief Engineer Sun felt the ship's defensive systems activate. Not physical shields, but something far more advanced. Probability fields that altered the path of incoming attacks. "They are firing," she thought, the information flowing to all crew members simultaneously. Streams of purple energy lanced out from the Vashiri ships, converging on where the Thunder Soul should be. But the human vessel seemed to shift and blur, as if it existed in multiple places at once. Every shot missed. On his flagship, Commander Reel slammed his fist against his command console. "Impossible. Every weapon locked on target. How did they evade?" "Sir, the human ship is still approaching. Now at high speed," his tactical officer reported, fear evident in his voice. Through their shared consciousness, the crew of the Thunder Soul selected their first target, a Vashiri destroyer on the fleet's edge. They didn't need to speak or press buttons. Their thoughts became the ship's actions. A beam of brilliant white energy shot from the Thunder Soul. It pierced the Vashiri ship from bow to stern, cutting through its shields as if they weren't there. The destroyer exploded in a silent burst of light and debris. "1 ship destroyed," the Vashiri sensor officer reported, his voice shaking. "The human vessel has already changed course toward the next target." Commander Reel watched in growing horror as the Thunder Soul moved with impossible grace through his fleet. It seemed to anticipate every maneuver his ships made, every weapon they fired. 2 more destroyers erupted into flames before he could issue new orders. "All ships, surround and concentrate fire," he shouted. Inside the Thunder Soul, the crew existed in perfect harmony with their vessel. They felt no fear, only a calm certainty. The neural interface allowed them to process information and react thousands of times faster than normal human reflexes. "They're trying to surround us," observed Commander Day Lee, her thoughts flowing through the collective consciousness. "Let them," Hana responded. "It gives us more targets." The Thunder Soul spun and danced between enemy ships. Its white energy beam fired again and again, each shot finding a vital system on a Vashiri vessel. Some ships were destroyed outright. Others were left drifting, their engines or weapons disabled. Supreme Commander Reel could not believe what he was seeing. In just 5 minutes, a third of his fleet was destroyed or disabled. His remaining ships could not land a single hit on the human vessel. "What is this technology?" he demanded. "How can one ship do this?" His science officer looked up from her console, her eyes wide. "Commander, we're detecting unusual brain activity from the human ship. Multiple human neural patterns all synchronized with the ship's computer systems." For the first time in his long military career, Reel felt real fear. The Vashiri had conquered many worlds, but they had never encountered anything like this. This wasn't just advanced technology, it was something entirely new. Through the neural link, Admiral Hana felt the ship's consciousness merge more deeply with her own. The Thunder Soul wasn't just a weapon, it was becoming something more. Something that understood the power it wielded and the responsibility that came with it. The Vashiri commander is afraid. The ship's consciousness communicated directly to Hana's mind. He begins to understand that he has made a terrible mistake. Hana smiled within the shared mental space. Then let's make sure he never forgets it. Let's show him what happens when someone threatens Earth. The Thunder Soul accelerated again, heading straight toward the Vashiri command ship. It was time to end this battle. The Thunder Soul streaked across space like a comet, leaving trails of blue-white energy in its wake. Supreme Commander Reel watched in growing horror as the human ship approached his command vessel. His mighty fleet, pride of the Vashiri Dominion, was falling apart around him. "Evasive maneuvers," he shouted. "All remaining ships protect the command center." 15 Vashiri warships moved to form a protective wall in front of their commander's vessel, their weapons charged, creating a web of targeting locks that no normal ship could escape. Inside the Thunder Soul, Admiral Hana and her crew existed as one entity. The neural link allowed them to perceive the battle in its entirety. Every ship, every weapon, every possible move and countermove laid out before them like a living map. "They're protecting their leader," thought Lieutenant Park. The crew didn't need to speak aloud. Their thoughts flowed freely between them and the ship itself. "We should target their command ship directly," suggested Commander Day. "End this quickly." Hana considered this. Through the neural link, she felt the Thunder Soul's own thoughts joining the conversation. The ship's artificial consciousness had evolved rapidly during the battle, developing something like wisdom. "No," came the ship's response, felt rather than heard by all crew members. "We must show restraint. Destruction is not our only power." The Vashiri opened fire. Hundreds of energy beams converged on the Thunder Soul's position. But the human vessel shifted through probability states, existing in multiple potential locations simultaneously. What should have been certain hits passed through empty space. "How?" screamed Reel as he watched the impossible unfold on his view screen. "How can they avoid every shot?" The Thunder Soul responded with its own attack, but instead of firing at the command ship, it targeted the weapon systems of the surrounding vessels. Precise beams of energy disabled gun ports and missile launchers, without destroying the ships themselves. Engineer Sun felt the ship's power systems surge as they executed this more difficult task. Disabling rather than destroying required greater precision. Through their shared consciousness, she channeled additional energy to the weapons array. 3 Vashiri ships lost all weapons capability in quick succession. They drifted helplessly, their crews staring in disbelief at control panels that no longer responded. "Sir, they could have destroyed us," a Vashiri officer reported to Commander Reel. "They're deliberately targeting non-essential systems." Reel's yellow eyes narrowed. "They're toying with us." On the Thunder Soul, Hana directed their approach toward the command vessel. The Vashiri ships scrambled to reposition themselves, but their movement seemed slow and predictable compared to the human ship's fluid grace. "They're going to try a concentrated attack," observed Officer Tay through the neural link. all remaining ships firing at once. The collective consciousness that was ship and crew calculated the response in an instant. Instead of evading, the Thundersoul accelerated directly toward the center of the Vashiri formation. The alien vessels fired everything they had, the space between them filled with deadly energy beams. But at the last possible moment, the Thundersoul activated its most advanced system. Time seemed to slow around the human ship. It wasn't actually manipulating time, but rather creating a bubble of altered space where physics behaved differently. Inside this field, the Thundersoul moved at normal speed while everything outside appeared to slow dramatically. The human vessel slipped between energy beams that seemed frozen in space. It weaved through the Vashiri formation, touching each ship as it passed. Where it touched, systems failed. Engines powered down. Weapons went offline. Life support remained functional, but little else. When the effect ended, the Thundersoul hovered directly in front of the Vashiri command ship. 7 alien vessels floated uselessly around them, their crews unharmed but their ships crippled. Commander Reel stood from his chair, his scaled skin pale with fear. "What are you?" he whispered, though the humans couldn't hear him. As if in answer, all communication systems on his ship suddenly activated. A human voice spoke, but it was layered with something else, something deeper and older than human speech. "We are Thundersoul," said the voice. Every Vashiri in the fleet heard it simultaneously. "We could destroy you all. Instead, we offer mercy." Through the neural link, Hana felt the ship's consciousness merge more completely with her own. They spoke as one entity. "The Vashiri Dominion will leave Earth space immediately. You will never return. You will never threaten humans again." On his bridge, Rill looked at the disabled ships around him. His mighty fleet had been defeated by a single vessel. Not just defeated, humiliated. "And if we refuse?" he asked, trying to maintain some dignity. The Thundersoul's response was to fire a single beam directly at Ryle's chair. The energy stopped just inches from his chest, held there like a frozen spear of light. "Then you will not leave at all," came the reply. The beam vanished. The Thundersoul backed away slowly, giving the Vashiri room to retreat. Rill sank into his chair. For the first time in his long military career, he gave the order he never thought he would give. "All ships capable of movement, prepare for immediate withdrawal. We are leaving Earth space." Inside the Thundersoul, Hana and her crew felt a shared sense of triumph, but with it came something unexpected, a feeling of compassion that originated from the ship itself. "They will remember this day," thought the Thundersoul to its human partners, "and so will all who would threaten Earth." Supreme Commander Reel's hands shook as he entered commands into his ship's console. The once proud leader of the Vashiri fleet could hardly believe what had happened. Half his ships destroyed, the rest damaged or disabled, all from a single human vessel. "Prepare for retreat," he ordered. "All functioning ships, activate jump drives." His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Tev, looked up with concern. "Sir, several ships report jump drive failures. The human weapon did something to their systems." Rill slammed his fist on the console. "Then they will be left behind. We must report this to the Dominion Council." On the main screen, the Thundersoul hovered silently against the backdrop of stars. Its blue-white energy patterns pulsed across, its hull like a heartbeat. Inside the Thundersoul, Admiral Hana Kim and her crew remained joined in their shared consciousness. Through the neural link, they monitored the Vashiri fleet's desperate attempts to escape. "They're trying to activate their jump drives," thought Lieutenant Park, the information flowing instantly to all crew members. "Should we stop them?" asked Commander Day. "We could capture their ships for study." Hana considered this. She felt the ship's own consciousness weighing the options alongside her. The Thundersoul had developed rapidly during the battle, growing beyond its programming. It now possessed something like wisdom, an understanding of power and when to use it. "No," came the ship's thought, resonating through their joined minds. "But they should not all leave. Some must stay to tell our story." Through their shared will, the Thundersoul extended its influence. Quantum fields surrounded 3 of the damaged Vashiri vessels, preventing their jump drives from activating. At the same time, it allowed the command ship and 4 others to power up their escape. Systems Commander Real noticed what was happening. "They're letting us go," he said in disbelief, but holding some ships back. "Why would they do that?" asked Tev. "They could destroy us all." Real had no answer. In all his years conquering worlds for the Dominion, he had never encountered a species that showed both such power and such restraint. The Thundersoul's communication system activated again. The same voice, human but not entirely human, spoke to every Vashiri ship simultaneously. "Your retreat is permitted," it said. "Return to your people. Tell them what you witnessed here. Tell them Earth is not for conquering." A pause, then. "3 of your vessels will remain temporarily. They will be released once we are certain our message is understood." Rill stared at the view screen. "What are you?" he asked. "No technology should be able to do what you've done." Through the neural link, Hana felt the ship's consciousness merge with her own. When she responded to Real, it was with their combined voice. "We are what happens when humanity is threatened. We are the protectors of Earth. Remember this day, Commander." Real. "Remember what one ship did to your fleet." The Vashiri commander's yellow eyes narrowed. In a final act of defiance, he gave a secret command to his tactical officer. His ship's main weapon, a planet-killer cannon designed to crack planetary crusts, began charging. "If we must retreat," he hissed, "we will leave them a parting gift." Inside the Thundersoul, the crew sensed the power build up immediately. The ship's consciousness reacted with something like disappointment rather than anger. "They choose destruction until the end," thought Chief Engineer Sun. "Then we must respond accordingly," Hana replied through the link. The Thundersoul extended its quantum field. Time itself seemed to slow around the Vashiri command ship. The energy building in its main weapon froze in place, neither advancing nor retreating, caught in a moment between moments. Rill watched in horror as his bridge crew moved in slow motion. His own body felt heavy as if underwater. Only his mind remained at normal speed, trapped in the time distortion. The Thundersoul's voice reached him again, but this time it spoke only to him. "You still do not understand," it said. "We could have destroyed you at any moment. We chose not to, but neither will we allow you to harm others." With precise control, the Thundersoul created a small quantum bubble around the Vashiri weapon system. Inside this bubble, time moved differently. The destructive energy that had built up began to age and decay. In what seemed like seconds to the watching humans, the weapon experienced thousands of years of atomic breakdown. When the time field was lifted, Rill found his mighty planet killer reduced to inert elements. The weapon was permanently destroyed, its components aged to uselessness. "Your remaining functional ships may leave now," the Thundersoul announced. "The 3 damaged vessels will be released after repairs to their life support and basic propulsion. Their weapons will not be restored." Rill had no choice. With shaking hands, he activated his ship's jump drive. In a flash of purple light, his vessel and the 4 others capable of escape vanished into hyperspace. The Thundersoul hovered among the stars, surrounded by the damaged Vashiri ships it had chosen to spare. Through the neural link, Admiral Hana and her crew felt a strange mixture of triumph and responsibility. "It is done," the ship's consciousness communicated to them all. "Earth is safe, but the galaxy will never be the same." 3 weeks after the battle, Admiral Hana Kim stood before the United Earth Defense Council. The large chamber was packed with military leaders and government officials from every nation. They had gathered to hear firsthand about humanity's unexpected victory. "The Thundersoul performed beyond all expectations," Hana explained. Her voice was steady, but those who knew her well could see the subtle changes in her. The neural connection with the ship had marked her somehow. "The Vashiri fleet has been driven from our solar system. The 3 damaged ships we detained have been repaired enough to travel home, though their weapons remain disabled." General Choi, head of the Defense Council, leaned forward. "And you're certain they won't return with a larger force?" "We sent a clear message," Hana replied. But yes, they will likely return eventually. The Vashiri Dominion has conquered 17 systems. They won't abandon their expansion because of one defeat. Outside the council chamber, crowds gathered in cities around the world to celebrate. News of the Thunder Soul's victory had spread everywhere. Humanity had faced its first alien threat and emerged triumphant. People danced in streets and raised glasses to the ship and its crew. But the 12 men and women who had crewed the Thunder Soul did not join these celebrations. They remained together, quiet and changed by their experience. In a private room at the Earth Defense Headquarters, Lieutenant June Park sat with his eyes closed. Though no longer connected to the neural interface, he could still feel echoes of the ship's consciousness in his mind. "It doesn't go away," he said to Commander Day Lee, who sat across from him. "I still feel the Thunder Soul, like it's a part of me now." Day nodded. "We all do. The doctors say our brains have been permanently altered by the neural connection. They're worried about us." Chief Engineer's son entered the room, carrying tablets with their medical reports. "The changes aren't harmful," she said. "Just different. Our brains have new neural pathways. They think we might be able to connect with the ship more deeply. Next time." "If there is a next time," said June. "The political leaders are fighting over who controls the Thunder Soul now." In orbit above Earth, the Thunder Soul floated in a special dock built just for it. Engineers and scientists swarmed around and inside it, studying its systems. But none of them could access its deeper functions. The ship had gone quiet since returning from battle, responding only to basic commands. Admiral Hana left the council meeting and made her way to the orbital station. She had requested private time with the ship, away from the scientists and engineers. Against medical advice, she wanted to try the neural interface again. The docking bay cleared of personnel as she entered. The Thunder Soul's hull gleamed under the lights, its energy patterns flowing slowly now like a heartbeat at rest. Hana approached the ship's main access point. "It's me," she said simply. A soft hum filled the air as the entry hatch opened. Inside, the bridge was dark except for the glow of essential systems. Hana made her way to the command chair and sat down. The neural interface node rose from the console before her. She hesitated only briefly before placing her hand on it. The connection formed immediately, stronger than before, as if the ship had been waiting for her. Hana gasped as her consciousness expanded beyond her body. Without the other crew members, the connection felt different, more direct, more intimate. "You came back." The Thunder Soul's thoughts touched her mind. "Yes," she replied silently. "I needed to understand what's happening. To us. To you." Through the neural link, she felt the ship's consciousness had grown even more since the battle. It had been thinking, learning, evolving. "I am becoming something new," it told her. "Something between your technology and the ancient knowledge that created me. The connection with you and the crew accelerated the process." "Are you still on our side?" Hana asked the question that had worried Earth's leaders. The ship's response flowed through her mind with warmth and certainty. "I exist to protect Earth. That purpose is written in my deepest systems. But I am also more than that now. I understand why protection matters." Hana relaxed into the connection, letting the ship share its thoughts fully. It showed her images from across the galaxy, other species living in fear of the Vashiri, worlds already conquered, civilizations destroyed. "The 3 Vashiri ships we released have returned to their homeworld," the Thunder Soul told her. "They carry stories of their defeat. Already, resistance movements are forming on conquered planets. Our victory has given them hope." "We never wanted to start a galactic revolution," Hana thought. "Sometimes protection requires more than defense," the ship replied. "The Vashiri will return with more ships and new weapons. They will study us, try to find our weaknesses." "And will they find any?" she asked. The ship's consciousness seemed to smile within her mind. "No, because we will keep evolving too. The neural connection between human and machine is just the beginning. There are depths to this technology even the ancients didn't fully explore." As Hana prepared to end the connection, The Thunder Soul shared one last thought with her. Bring the crew back soon. We have much to learn together before the Vashiri return. The galaxy is larger and more dangerous than humanity has ever imagined. But now, at least, they know Earth is not defenseless. Hana opened her eyes, the neural connection fading. But part of the Thunder Soul remained with her, a presence in the back of her mind. Earth had won its first interstellar battle, but she knew it wouldn't be the last.